If you watched Thursday's video on Helpless from Hamilton, you will know that I promised in that video a very, very big announcement today. If you're signed up to my mailing list, you already received this announcement on Wednesday. If you don't want to miss big announcements in the future, you should sign up to my mailing list at the link in the description. Here's the announcement. Last week, I went down to New York to audition for the BMI Lehman Engel musical theater workshop. And on Saturday, I found out that I was accepted into the program. I've been accepted as a composer. If you don't know what the BMI Lehman Engel musical theater workshop is, it is the premier training ground for emerging musical theater composers, lyricists, and librettists. It's been called the Harvard of musical theater writing by it's been called the Harvard of Musical Theater Writing by the New York Times. I'm trying to find... Here we go. Look at this. These are all alumni of the program. Alan Menken, Tom Kitt, Robert Lopez, Howard Ashman, Andrew Lippa, Edward Kleban, Maury Yeston, Jeanine Tesori, Christian Anderson Lopez, like Michael John Lacusa, Glenn Slater, like the Stephen Flaherty and Lynn Ahrens, like the Neil Bartram, like the list of alumni is just insane. It's actually insane. Like, just look at this. Whoa, Barry Manilow? Yo, did Barry Manilow do this workshop? That's crazy if that's true. Kerrigan and Loudermilk. If Barry Manilow did it, that's crazy. I didn't know that. But like, my goodness. There's so many alumni of this program who have made long-lasting impacts on the musical theater world. I'm going to get to join this list of alumni. Like, these are the people whose footsteps I'm going to be following in. It's like just a mind-blowing thing for me. I'm so excited about it. I think it is probably the biggest thing to happen in my career. I'm really excited. I've deferred my acceptance to next year because of the music directing contracts that I have lined up for the 2024-2025 season. But in September 2025, I will be down in New York taking classes from the world's best at the Harvard of Musical Theater Writing. So it's a pretty big announcement. I'm really excited and honored and humbled to have been selected for this workshop. It is such an amazing opportunity that I do not take for granted for 1 second. I felt really good about my audition. I was really proud of the work that I did. But even at that point, I mean, the chances of getting in are so small that, like, even though I felt really good about what I was presenting, you know, nothing is ever guaranteed. And so I don't take this for granted for a second. I want to share with you, actually, the song, or one of 3 songs that I presented at my audition. And it's kind of surprising to me that I haven't ever done an analysis of this song on my channel, because it's one of my favorite songs I've ever written. It's very me, I find. It's very unique and not to everybody's taste. But it's called That's How I Remember It. It's a song from my musical Tommy Rhodes. And it's sung by the kidnapper of the boy. He sings it to the mother of the boy, trying to convince her to testify in his favor in court. You'll notice something about the time signature. 7/8, which means there are 7 eighth notes in a bar. Usually there are 8 eighth notes in a bar, but no. In this song, there's only 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. And because there's this like uneven number of eighth notes in the bar, it gives the whole song this feeling of unpredictability. And I thought that was really, really important for this character who's a little bit of a psychopath, a little bit of a sadist, you know, does not care who he hurts in his life. I mean, clearly he's a convicted kidnapper. And so I wanted to give him that music that mirrored that sense of like unpredictability. You don't know when he's going to fly off the handle, and hopefully make the audience very afraid of him because of that. And then I also gave him this very dark harmonic sound. We're in E flat minor, which has 6 flats. Dun dun dun. That is our key. We use every single black note on the entire piano in that scale. And this is the intro music. And I think these are the most me 2 bars of music that I've ever written. Like they just feel like they couldn't have been written by anybody else to me. Like this bass line, it's very kind of simple. It just moves up the E flat pentatonic scale, the E flat minor pentatonic scale, sorry, in this very kind of predictable pattern. Bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. But then it's in this rhythm that is very nerdy 7/8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So that feels very me. And then this little right hand flourish, that also feels very uniquely me. It's really hard to understand why that works. I don't even really understand it because it's so dissonant. This F flat and F natural in the key of E flat. Like if I put F flat, F natural, and E flat right next to each other, it's just like, bah, it's just chaos. But I think this works because if you separate it out so that you separate these 4 notes from this first note, this F flat leads really nicely down to the E flat, which is the home note of the chord. Da-na, da-na, right? That like downward semitone motion. So that works. And then separately, this is C flat to G flat, and then F natural to B flat. Putting that together, it outlines these 2 chords, this like flat 6 to the 5, which resolves very nicely to the minor chord. And again has that like dun dun downward semitone dark feeling to it. So combining them, it's very counterintuitive, but it goes by quickly so you don't exactly hear what's going on. It's just like miscellaneous dark sound. But I think that's why harmonically it works, is because each voice, each note here has a place to go. And I think that's going to be a common theme throughout the song. There's all sorts of chaotic harmony. If you want to hear a demo of me singing the song, I'll link it in the description. Like here, for example, actually, maybe a better example is, this is a better example here. I have this chord leading us into the second verse. And this chord it's a nonsense chord. It's like not even real. It's like a B flat on the bottom, right? But on top it's like this B flat or B natural or C flat, I guess. There's like B flat on the bottom with this C flat suspended 4th on top. Like it makes no sense, but it makes sense because we're going to E flat minor, right? So if you take away this G flat for a second and you just look at these notes, what I've got in this chord is just a semitone above each one of those notes, right? So again, it's that downward semitone, da-dum, happening in 3 voices in the harmony all at once. And then this G flat just stays, so that kind of anchors the harmony. That note stays there. It's still there. while the other three voices in the right hand move down. Then here, this B flat is the dominant of E flat minor or major. They're the same in terms of the fact that B flat is the dominant. So B flat is the dominant, which means it leads back to the home note very satisfyingly. Da da. So when you put that leading to E flat, it makes sense. And when you put this leading to E flat, it makes sense because of that downward semitone motion. When you put the B flat together with that chord, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But every note leads to the next chord in a very satisfying way, and so the dissonance makes some sort of sense. It's all about where each note is going, and not necessarily the fact that the notes don't make sense together. And I think that kind of represents the way that the character thinks. You know, the character thinks in a really kind of backwards way, and his thoughts themselves are twisted and crooked and sour and evil. But they still make some sort of sick logic in his mind. So that's why I wanted to use this kind of really dissonant harmony. Another good example I like is this chord here. I have this. Like, this is another chord that's just stupid, right? This A natural, E natural with an E flat on top. Like, that is just nonsense. Is the E natural? Is it flat? Who knows? There's one of each. And then this C flat here. Like, if you put these all in the same octave, like, it's just this totally chaotic chord. But again, it's all about where each note is going, right? This A natural leads perfectly to that B flat. This E natural leads perfectly to that F. This C flat leads down perfectly to that B flat, and this E flat leads perfectly down to that D. So we've got like these two voices that are moving down a semitone on top of these two voices that are moving up a semitone. And so together, it makes sense, even though the first chord is a really wonky chord. My evil laugh. I put a switch from 7/8 to 11/16 in my song. What? That doesn't make any sense at all. But wait, yes it does. Let me explain. So, okay. Let me talk a little bit about how 7/8 works in this song. When we get complex time signatures like this, we have to divide them up into smaller groups. 7/8, for example, is often divvied up into 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So even though there's 7 counts of, there's 7 8, there's 7 eighths in the bar, so we're counting in 7. It almost feels like there's 3 pulses and one of them is just slightly longer, right? Traditionally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Short, short, long. Short, short, long. Right? That's one of the traditional ways to break up 7/8. The way that I'm doing it here, it's kind of weird because it's kind of like, actually it's 14 16th notes instead of 7/8 notes. As you know, a 16th note is exactly half the length of an 8th note, and so there are exactly twice as many in every bar as there are 8th notes. So if there's 7/8 notes, that means there's 14 16th notes, and it's kind of divvied up like 4 16th notes plus 4 16th notes plus 3 plus 3. So instead of being short, short, long, short, short, long, it's actually more like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. So it's like bum ba bum ba bum 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 ba bum ba bum 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 ba bum ba bum bum ba bum bum. So it makes it feel like there are 4 pulses and it's long, long, short, short, long, long, short, short, long, long, short, short, long, long, short, short, long, long, short, short. So, because it's broken up into 4/16 notes, 4/16 notes, 3/16 notes, and then 3/16 notes, the last pulse is 3/16 notes worth. And that's if we're imagining that this is 14/16, right? Are you still with me? Okay. If I just get rid of that last pulse of 3/16 notes, 14 minus 11, or 14, I gave it away. Shoot. 14 minus 3 is 11. 11/16 is actually 4/16 notes or 2/8 notes. Those are the same thing. Plus 4/16 notes or 2/8 notes. Those are the same thing. Plus 3/16 notes or 1/8 note and 1/16 note, which adds up to the equivalent of 3/16 notes. So if the 7/8 is the equivalent of 14/16, which is long, long, short, short, long, long, short, short, then if you just take away the second short, you get long, long, short, long, long, short, short. You just have that one bar where we just skip a beat. And that's literally all it is. We're going from long, long, short, short, long, long, short, short, long, long. Then we have long, long, short, long, long, short, short, long, long, short, short. So that's all that 11/16 is. It's actually quite intuitive when you're just listening to it because we're just dropping a beat out of the bar. But to look at it on the page or to like explain it in like mathematical terms is crazy. So I'm pretty proud of this little mathematical trick that I did here. Pretty proud of that. I feel a little bit smug. And then we go into this bridge section, which is also just like stupid harmony. We go from E flat minor into like whatever this is. Like this is a C minor 6 chord. So we're totally not sure where we are key center wise. Like we've got the E flat from C minor, but we've also got the A natural from C major. So again, it's just like hammering home how unstable this character is. Like we can't really figure out what key we're in here. Then here we resolve to like a nice solid F minor, and we go, okay, I guess we're in F minor. Then here we go back to that ambiguous C minor 6 sound and back to the F minor. But then we drop down a semitone in the bass and then another full tone to D, which is not part of F minor. And now we're on D minor 6, and like of these notes, literally only one of them, this F, appears in F minor. So suddenly we are definitely not in F minor anymore. What the heck? Where are we? We have this D minor 6, then we go to this like E add flat 6, like this major E chord with this like added C on top. And then we go to F sharp minor. So we're just jumping all over the place, which, you know, represents the way that this character is really unstable, untrustworthy. Just like we can't trust the music to settle in a key signature, we also can't trust the character to be, you know, 100% honest. We can tell he's manipulating the other characters on stage because his music is just so difficult to follow. Then we hit this E flat major, which takes us to this B flat chord, which again is the dominant, which takes us back to E flat minor. Then we end on this big crescendo. Can't you recall how she came crying to me that day? She didn't trust herself to keep that boy alive. So remember when I said, like, you don't know when this character's gonna fly off the handle, he's unpredictable. Ta-da, there it is. Oh my god, what the heck? He's just yelling a B flat for no reason. He's a little bit of a Hannibal Lecter type, where he keeps it all very under wraps, but you know he could blow up at any moment, and then when he blows up, it's terrifying. That's who this character is. That's what I was trying to capture musically with, like, that's the reason he's using that ridiculous high range. It's the reason that he's using these ridiculous time signatures and this ridiculous dissonant, dark harmony. Another thing I kind of like here is that just an odd quirk of the way the piano's laid out is if you just smack your hand down on the black keys, you can actually play 6 notes at a time. I'm literally taking my hand like this and smacking the black keys of the piano, and that is that chord there. So it's just like the angriest chord in piano history. And then I think it's important that he drops down in dynamic to re-crescendo again, and he switches to 4/4, which is a steady time signature, when he really is trying to communicate clearly what he wants this person to do. The whole song has been leading to the fact that she wants him to, or he wants her to say that she begged him to take the boy. He wants her to tell the court that she gave him permission to have the boy so that he does not get punished for kidnapping. That's the point of this whole song. And when he gets to that point, the dynamic comes down a little bit. The time signature evens out because he's making sure, he is being very clear, you need to do this for me. Otherwise, who knows? We know he's a threatening person. We don't know what he's capable of doing if she doesn't do what he says. And then again, one more time, this 7/8 to 11/16 trick. That's how I remember it. How do you remember it? Dun, 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 dun. And then we end on, which feels like a resolution of the main theme. The left hand ends the main theme on that note. In this resolution bar, it just keeps climbing up to the E flat, which is the home note of the chord, and then it drops an octave, which is a very satisfying interval. Then the right hand takes on the main theme and goes basically, except it jumps the octave as well, which is just 3, 2, 1, right down the minor scale, right back to that E flat. So even though this whole thing has been very tumultuous in terms of time signature and in terms of harmony and in terms of rhythm and everything, it ends very final. There is no equivocating on what this man wants her to do. It's just that he's unpredictable and possibly violent, and that has been captured in the music, hopefully. So that is one of the songs that I presented at my BMI audition. I hope you found this cool. If you're still watching this after all of this analysis of like 7/8 and 11/16 time, you are a special kind of nerd. You are my people. If you're still watching this, I appreciate and love you. And I hope only good things come your way. Anyways, yeah, thank you all so much for your belief in me. Like, it just means so much, and I could not have done this without every single one of you. So thank you. I'm still in Toronto for another year. Then September 2025, I'm going to be living in New York full time, no matter what. And I'm going to be attending the BMI Lehman Engel workshop, which is pretty incredible to say. So thank you all so much for watching. I will see you very soon back on the channel. Peace out, y'all.